Hello and welcome to Brain Drain Newsroom. It's Tuesday, actually it's Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, and today we're going deep on the employment-based green card pipeline, specifically EB-1 and EB-2. We'll break down what USCIS and the State Department are reporting for fiscal year 2025 so far, why both categories hit their annual limits early, and which countries lead demand. If you're a high-skilled worker, an employer, or anyone tracking U.S. competitiveness, this one matters. Fiscal year 2025 status check. EB-1 and EB-2 hit their annual caps ahead of the September 30th end of fiscal year. Issuance are paused until October 1st when fiscal year 2026 begins. USCIS pipeline indicators for fiscal year 2025. I-140 data show who's filing EB-1 and EB-2 from where, and the top 5 beneficiary countries year to date include India, China, the Philippines, Brazil, and Nigeria. To put it in context with fiscal year 2024, the top 10 countries actually receiving EB-1 and EB-2 visas. And this comes from the State Department. And you need to understand that there are per country caps, retrogression, and the 2025 per country limit math. Let's go into it. Where fiscal year 2025 stands right now. We are in week 51 of fiscal year 2025. Both EB-1 and EB-2 categories ran out of annual numbers and are paused until October 1st. The State Department and the USCIS flagged this in early September. Just quick definitions. EB-1 covers priority workers. EB-2 covers advanced degree holders with or exceptional ability. The per country limit for fiscal 2025 is about 26,323 visas per country. It's the same as if you're in China, as if you're in the Vatican. The demand is steep and the caps hit early. But the caps hit early signal high filings and approvals. Also, for fiscal year 2025, USCIS indicators who's filing EB-1 and EB-2. I'm going to show you something a little bit later on, and that will give it a little bit more context. USCIS I-140, that is the application that is used for the EB-1 and EB-2 programs, and mostly for all of the permanent immigration programs. For fiscal 2025, quarter 2, highlight, receipts and approvals. Top 5 beneficiary countries for the EB-1 and EB-2 filings year to date: India, China, Philippines, Brazil, Nigeria. Receipts are the earliest signal of demand. India and China dominate while Brazil, Nigeria, and the Philippines are rising. Employers and applicants should plan their filing timing and interfiling strategies around the fiscal year turnover. Next, the fiscal year 2024 benchmark. The top 10 countries in the EB-1 and EB-2 categories. Fiscal year 2024 Visa Office tables provide the most recent audited data. Keep in mind, fiscal year 2025 is still in effect. So we're looking at fiscal 2024 just to give us a little bit of context. We won't have the exact numbers for fiscal year 2025. Most likely, as far as the auditing is concerned, that should be completed and they should be published sometime in November. The top 10 EB-1 categories For uh, yes, for fiscal year 2024, India, China, Brazil, United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, South Korea, Russia, France, Argentina. On the EB-2 category, the top 10 countries were China, Brazil, South Korea, India, Iran, Colombia, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Mexico, Canada. And the next cluster would be Taiwan and Pakistan and Nepal. Fiscal year 2025 issuance by country is not yet final, but the USCIS I-140 receipts give some indicators. Caps, retrogression, and the fiscal year 2025 squeeze. EB-1 and EB-2 each start at 28.6 of the worldwide employment-based level. Remember, what we have is approximately 140,000 visas that are issued under the employment category. 28.6% of them go to EB-1, and another 28.6 of them go to the EB-2. We also then have the remaining percentage that is divided amongst EB-3, EB-4, and EB-5. It really comes out to about 7,500 for the EB-1 for each country, and 7,500 approximately for EB-2. All right. Keep in mind, these are not exact numbers because of the spillover and derivatives. Derivatives are, well, basically spouses and children. All right. So September 25, 2025 Visa Bulletin shows the per country limit. EB-2 retrogressed, and then it hit the fiscal year 2025 limit. EB-1 followed. Applicants inside the U.S. may see no approvals released until October 1st. Keep in mind, the procedure is you file with USCIS to get your I-140 application approved. Once that is approved, assuming that it's approved, it then goes to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center determines whether a visa is going to be available to you, and it's based on your country, where you were born. So again, if you were born in the Vatican, yeah, you're going to be one of the top ones in line. You'll see that a little bit later. If you're born in India and China, it could be decades by the time your numbers come up. It's just a simple numbers game. Action items, what we recommend is that you get your document readiness, your medicals, job offer letters, supplemental evidence ready. You cross-check priority dates and Visa Bulletin categories monthly. Employers and applicants should forecast start dates, use non-immigrant stopgaps as needed. That could be the O1, things of that nature. Country status strategy, cross-chargeability may help reduce wait times. That's something that you would want to either discuss with us or any attorneys. Keep in mind, Brain Drain, we do have several attorneys who are expert in this that we rely on. I highly recommend that you also rely on them. Stay data-driven. Okay, ignore the noises that are out there saying that it's shut down. Yes, it's shut down, but it's shut down for 13 weeks because they gave out all the recommended or allotted visas, and they're going to be giving out more, basically starting October 1st. So, yeah, it's just like when you go to the grocery store and they run out of milk. You just wait a couple hours and they have more. Okay, what it means. The U.S. continues to attract global talent. Caps and per country limits force the system to pause before the year ends, which is what we're going through right now. It creates uncertainty for families and employers. Yes, it does. Immigration enforcement and policy are as much about politics and power as it is about law. Uh, I want to go over some of these documents here just so that you can get familiar, because this entire presentation is based on these. And we will make sure that we include them, and hopefully they get included into the notes below, and that you can then tag along or follow along. Maybe even print them up or put them on screen and allow yourself to go through it. So let's start with this one right here. And okay, give me 1 second here as I go through. Obviously I am not familiar with this, and there we go. All right, this document here, as you can see, make sure I have it right. Let me look at it from my end here. Okay, this tells you petitions by employment preference. Total petitions 87,000. It's in 2014. 79,000 were approved, and 7,000 were denied. Pending. That means that the pending means that either they weren't approved or they didn't have a visa number for it. They reached their limit and they put it off to the following year. Okay, so we do have pending, and it's something that we need to make sure that we understand and keep in mind. Okay, because as you can see, the pending numbers here in 2024 from 2023 just exploded. We went from, well, in 2022, we went from about 600, 500, 600 in these years, 800 there. And then in 2023, we went to 4,000. And in 2024, we're at 63,000. Let's talk about how that really affects you. Okay. Under the EB-1 category, if you're looking to apply for the EB-1 category, what we have here in 2024, all right, we had 27,000 approved, which is in line with the rest. Well, as you can see, there's a huge jump beginning in 2023 and continuing on to 2024, a huge jump from the 17 all the way up to 30, so almost double. We had 3,000 denied, so they are approving them, and they're approving them in large numbers. And then we go to 10,000 that are pending, again, either because there's no numbers or the applications just haven't been approved yet. All right, and we also have the EB-2 category, and we have similar situation here, but the numbers for the EB-2 have been actually relatively stable. We've seen an uptick here in 2024. Approvals are very strong. Denials have ticked up, but I think the approvals are very, and the pending numbers, I think the pending numbers are actually encouraging. Let's put it that way. But that's where we're at as far as that's concerned. Let me get back to this. What we also have here, and let me find this other one. I think you'll be interested to see this. It's a little bit more concise. And here we go. Again, I'm always never too sure. Here we go. Yes. All right. Okay. This particular document, I think, is a. Here we go. Okay. This basically breaks it down by country. All right. And I think let's just go right to Asia. All right. Well, and then we can look at our friends in Africa later on for those who are interested. But we have Asia, we have China. As you can see, China is right up there. As I told you, it's about 7,500 is the limit, but they are right there at the EB-1 and the EB-2 categories. All right, they're tapped out. And they're very strong in the EB-3, but we're just going to concentrate on the EB-1 and EB-2. All right. India, as you can see, India went over the 7,500 for that, but they're way below on the EB-2. That's where the spillover takes place. So if obviously, if you don't have enough approvals in the one category or whatever, if you're low on those numbers, it's whatever. It basically gives you an opportunity to add. So in this case, because they were low on the EB-2, they were able to add for the EB-1. All right. Our friends in Europe, as you can see, we don't see any significant numbers until we get to France. And France, we have 1,000 for the EB-1 and 400 for the EB-2. All right. It's well below the cap. The cap in both categories, as I said, is approximately 7,500. We then go to our friends in Georgia. All right, it's again EB-1 6327. Again, the capacity is 7,500, but there's only was 63 approvals. So this was fiscal year 2024. So I am eager to see how it if these numbers increase in 2025, and we won't know that until November. Great Britain, again, 2,207 and for the EB-1 and 508 for the EB-2. Our friends in Moldova, 19 for EB-1 and 24 for EB-2. That's a little bit unique in that the EB-2 category is higher than the EB-1. The EB-2 category has a little bit of a feature. They call it the national interest waiver, and it does make it much more. It's not well known, but it does make it much more acceptable as far as or easy as the not. I don't want to use the word easy. It is also a doable type of visa pathway, but it's not well known, and most people, for whatever reason, they just think they want to go for EB-1, ignore the EB-2, which could be a mistake. Again, Russia, we have a significant of 1,333 for the EB-1, but only 659 for the EB-2. Our friends in Ukraine, 477 for the EB-1 and only 260 for the EB-2. And our friends in Uzbekistan, 58 for the EB-1 and 63 for the EB-2. Again, I'm not used to seeing the EB-2 numbers to be higher. So it is it's a interesting, how would you say it, interesting dynamic where you see the one much higher. You see the EB-2 numbers. I'm not used to seeing the EB-2 numbers higher than the EB-1 numbers. I know that a lot of people are going to say that this is a system that is highly complicated and needlessly complicated. And I can't necessarily disagree with that. I would have to say that it is a system where, I mean, part of me says, yes, we have a lot of engineers, we have a lot of legal help. And I think with the more of the engineers or whatever, we can come up with a much better way of doing this. But then part of me is saying, if they did in a much better way, then I'd be out of a job. But, we don't necessarily have to talk about that. Let's talk about how you can help, because we do have a lot of people in conflict zones across the world, and there's a lot of room. We have 14 million people in the United States who are undocumented, and they're all trying to get about 55,000 slots for the whatchamacallit, it's for the asylum. All right, so there's only like 55,000 openings for asylum. You get approved, and then you get stuck into the National Visa Center waiting room until your number comes up for a visa. That's pretty much how that stuff works. So, I mean, that's why it's decades. That's why you see numbers like 12 years before they decide or whatever. Again, there's also temporary visas and things of that nature, which you can use in combination. But I think that there's a huge opportunity, an untapped opportunity, to use the EB-1 and to use the EB-2, provided you are not born in China or India. And so, how you can help. You can support Brain Drain Newsroom. One, you go to braindrain.org/donate. Send us some money. That helps us keep this up. It helps us help these people get their applications in, get them to good legal counsel, and get them here and get them working, get them paying taxes, get them contributing to our economy, to our lifestyle, and to our basically our society. 3, you stay connected. Braindrain.org/newsletter. And just by signing on, all it takes is your email address, and you stay connected, and you stay, you get the idea of what's going on, what's happening, and how you can help, because every action, big or small, adds up to some sort of impact. That's our deep dive into the EB-1 and EB-2 for fiscal year 2025. Again, part 2 is going to be in November. From caps to country demand to employer strategies, the stakes are high. I'm Manus MacLean. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this and maybe even learned something new. If you did, don't just vanish into the algorithm. Hit like, subscribe, and follow us on social. It's the easiest way to support our work and make sure you never miss what's next. Want to stay in the loop without relying on big tech's mood swings? Sign up for our monthly newsletter. And if you've got the means, donations of any size keep our programs running strong. As a 501c3, your gift is tax deductible where the law allows. Together, we can turn Brain Drain into America's next big breakthrough.